Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Affirmative.
Affirmative.
If then, yes.
That's like an if-then type
Yeah,
statement.
it's kind of like an if-then statement. So if this video is actually recording, then we're back.
You think it's recording? Should I check it?
Why don't we check? Yeah. Why don't we just take a look? So it's kind of like that if-then sort of statement. So if this video is recording,
Yeah, it's recording.
then okay. So then we're back.
But it's not congruent though.
It's not. No. The stars aren't aligned.
Oh, like kind of like John's constellation.
Oh yeah, no, like kind of like more like the Big Dipper, you know.
Oh, the Big Dipper.
Yeah, the Big Dipper.
You know, it's only visible on Tuesdays when you're standing in the coordinates below 99.67.
99.67.
And when below those coordinates.
Oh, below those coordinates.
Yeah. I mean, above would be a whole different catastrophe.
Oh yeah, it would. That would show a whole different collection of stars, wouldn't it?
I mean, it would be the same collection but a different angle.
So therefore, it would look as if it was a different collection of stars. However, it's kind of like that same but different sort of.
But one of my favorite sayings is perspective is key.
One of my favorite sayings is don't believe everything you see on the internet.
Really?
Abe Lincoln said that one, yeah.
Oh. I mean, that's pretty wise.
It is pretty wise.
A good one here is believe nothing that you hear and half of what you see. You ever heard that one?
So what about the other half of what you see? Why shouldn't you?
I mean, you'd have to kind of pick and choose.
So why wouldn't you believe that? So if I clap twice,
I just told you that.
So if I clap twice,
mm-hmm.
then you should only believe that I clapped one time because you're believing half of what you see.
Well, I'm not believing what I hear. So who knows if you really clap?
But okay. So look at me. Did I do it twice or once?
One of those was correct.
One of those was real. One of those was fake.
Yeah. But again, I told you that statement, so you can't believe that. That's a fake statement.
Now, one of my favorite quotes also is don't criticize what you don't understand.
Oh, so like don't bite the hand that feeds you?
No, not at all like that. That's actually a really bad comparison. I'm really uncompelled by your
was that a bad analogy?
Bad analogy, yeah. So don't criticize what you don't understand. It's kind of like that if you don't understand the whole fiasco of what's going on with like Cohen's derivative, then you shouldn't be insulting it, you know?
I mean, but to add insult to injury, comma.
Yeah, please. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, just have to fill in the blank there. Because you couldn't hear what I was saying because you couldn't believe it.
But I did see it. I saw half of it, actually.
That's good enough.
Yeah, so I mean, it's sort of like that whole like hand in glove kind of like hypothesis. Like another if then statement there.
I mean, but if then statements.
So if the hand, it's kind of like if the hand is in the glove, then the glove is on the hand.
But that's why I don't like if then statements, because what if then becomes if, and like then occurs before if, so now it's a then if statement, but you're only seeing none of it and you're believing half of it, so it's like a then statement, and like where does the if come into play?
If he wants to show up.
But see, if he wants to show up, that's 6 words. I can only believe 3 of them. So it's like if, show, he, and I'm kind
now
of
if we add a seventh, so it's not just 6. It's
so
seven.
it would be 7
So
instead of 6.
So it goes from 6 to 7. So we're at like 7 words. How many of those words would you believe? 3.5 of them.
But it's not linear; it's exponential. So it'd be about 3.5.
That's pretty intelligent. Thank you for including that so we can all better understand now. Well, guys, a lot of stuff has happened since the last time that we filmed our podcast.
You want to go over some of those things?
Yeah, so the chef served some of his vegetables.
The chef's vegetables.
The chef's vegetables. We actually had the chef's vegetables, and we called the chef to ask him about it.
The chef declined to comment.
The chef did not come and give us a rundown on his vegetables.
Which was unfortunate. I had some high expectations for the chef.
I did as well. And now the jury is still out if these vegetables are actually the chef's or if he just labeled them the chef's vegetables.
And that can't be concluded.
I can't believe it either.
We did reach out for him numerous times. A allegedly he was quote unquote busy cooking for other guests. So
some vegetables for the other chefs that were allegedly his. However, the jury is still out if these vegetables are the chefs per se. Now, on brighter news, we did see the NBA Finals sort of take place now. Actually, tonight it's going to be starting. We have the Pacers of Indiana representing the Eastern Conference, and we have the City Thunder of Oklahoma representing the Western Conference. Now, why don't we go through some predictions right now? So we have Pacers versus Thunder.
you got the last prediction wrong. You said Knicks in 6.
I did say Knicks in 6.
And what happened?
And you said Knicks in 6 as well.
I can't recall.
You did.
No, I can't recall.
So do you plead the 5th?
I mean, I'm pleading the 5th that I don't recall. I could have said Knicks, but I also could have said Pacers in 5.
So we have Tis Guy. We have Tis Guy over here.
TS guy?
Yeah, so Tis Guy is just yapping right now. Now, well, I'll start with my opinion. So, just first of all, I'd like to give a round of applause for Mr. Gilgeous-Alexander for shooting many free throws and winning that what was it, Magic Johnson Western Conference MVP.
I mean, there was a cool little statistic.
I want to give him a round of applause for that, and I also want to give Spicy P Pascal Siakam for winning the Larry Bird Eastern Conference MVP. Just why don't we just.
I mean, I'm not going to clap for that because there was a bit of a statistic here. Would you like me to give you the statistic?
Please.
So, out of all players in the NBA Finals, most free throws shot this playoff series. So it goes, we can expect Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to be first.
Yes.
Then the second player was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander only in the first half.
Yeah.
Third place was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander only in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think fourth was going to be Tyrese Halliburton, or maybe it's Andrew Nemhard, or Pascal Siakam. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe all three. Maybe none of them.
Maybe Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the first, second, or third quarter.
No, that one comes in fourth.
Ah.
Yeah, so after the first three, that's fourth. And you have to find out who the fourth one was.
I see. But we only believe half of them because you have to believe half of what you see.
But the thing is, it's a rolling type of thing. So if you believe, let's just say you're given 5 statements, you can believe all 5.
However, you can't believe the next 5?
The next 5, you can't believe any of it.
Okay.
So it's like it adds a different type of level to your thoughts. So like basically everything you've said these past 9 minutes, I haven't believed a word of it. But then the next stuff you say next 9 minutes, I'll believe all of it.
Oh,
so
okay.
Here we go. Start spitting your gibberish. I'll believe it.
So now just before we get into the sort of prediction part, by a show of hands, how old are you?
Yeah, I believe that.
You believe it?
I believe it.
I just want a show of hands of how old someone is watching this. Just comment yes or no and tell us how old you are, please. So,
I believe that.
Now, with my prediction, I'm going to say that tonight the Thunder will take the victory, pretty commanding victory, as they've had plenty of rest. And, they do have the MVP in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
They also have that home court advantage.
They also do have that home court advantage. I mean, they've been a very strong team throughout the playoffs. So I do believe that the Thunder will come out strong, have a very convincing win tonight. I think that Game 2 will be the same way. I feel like the Thunder will get a very convincing win as well at home. And then we'll head to Indiana to see the Pacers game. I also believe that the Thunder will eke out a close Game 3. After fourth quarter, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander gets like 3 buckets in a row. They build to that 5-point lead. And then with like 2 seconds left, the game is just over. I believe in Game 4, with the Pacers back against the wall, they will eke out a very...
heartfelt victory.
Not even heartfelt. A very convincing win. They'll win by double digits. Usually what happens in these sort of games, I think SGA, Chet Holmgren, better known as Abraham Lincoln, and J-Dub will sort of get their foot off the gas a little bit because no one wants to see a clean sweep in the finals. I mean, who wants to see that? Nobody.
I'd want to see that.
Nobody. So I think the Pacers will win that game by double digits. We'll head back to Oklahoma City, where the Thunder will be your NBA champions. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Finals MVP.
Okay.
Thunder in 5.
Okay, well, I think Game 1, the Pacers are kind of going to shock the basketball world, by only losing by about 12 to 15 points.
Okay.
They're gonna keep it relatively close.
I see.
And then they're kind of gonna be exposed here. Their starting point guard's a bit of a clip farmer.
Mm-hmm.
Siakam used to play in Canada. That should tell you guys enough.
Yeah.
And then I think they'll lose game 2 about 40 to 50 points.
Wow.
Yeah, so what's going to happen in that game here, and you can kind of look at the betting markets, Vegas is all over it.
Like Kalshi, like the Kalshi sports betting app?
And Kalshi is going to be available in all 50 states.
It's actually, Kalshi's actually the only, not sponsored by the way. We'd love if Kalshi could sponsor us, but Kalshi is the only place that you can bet on the weather.
Polymarket as well.
Kalshi's the only place that you can bet on the weather in all 50 states.
Oh, yeah, that's correct.
That is correct.
So
guys, just don't gamble. Don't download Kalshi. Don't sponsor us, Kalshi. We don't want a gambling sponsorship. So yeah, just please continue.
So So, kind of the betting market surrounding this. If you kind of look at the lines for game 2, it's expected that Indiana actually comes out in that first half and has a 20-point lead. But then you're gonna be like, Luke, so how are the Thunder gonna win by 30 to 40 points? Well, I'll tell you how, Ryan.
Tell me how.
It's actually predicted that the Thunder outscore the Pacers by 67 points in the second half.
67?
Yeah, in the second half alone. And it's going to be kind of unheard of, but Thunder will come back and win that game. Now we head over to Indiana here. Now, There's going to be some rough weather. I suspect game 3 will be postponed by a tornado going through that Indianapolis area. So there isn't going to be a game 3. There is going to be a game 4, though. And
so what's going to happen with game 3? Who's going to get the win?
The tornado will get that victory.
Okay, so it'll be 2-0-1.
It'll be 2-0-1. So then back over to game 4.
So the tornado has a better chance of winning the series than the Pacers at that point in time.
At that point, correct.
Okay.
But then game 4.
Now, however, so how does this work in a best of 7 series?
There's actually a bit of a.
So that's 3 games right there. Let's say that we play we play 4 more games, and the Thunder win 1, and the Pacers win 3. Then it'll be 3-3-1.
Yeah, so we were kind of getting there, but that's just not in the cards.
Yeah, so
that's not in the cards. So there actually is a clause in the NBA rulebook. It's called a disaster clause.
And can you cite your source, please?
It's gonna be NBA rulebook, Article C, page 367. So, what this actually does state is if there happens to be a natural disaster over the arena during game time, the natural disaster is actually awarded the victory for that matchup. However, this series does get extended another 2 games. So it's going to be a 9-game series.
Is this Mountain Valley Water?
Yeah.
And are they sponsor the video?
No.
Oh, they don't sponsor anymore?
Not anymore.
So guys, it's a sad day. Mountain Valley is no longer the sponsor of our channel. They actually did DM us a few days ago saying that we appreciated the 3 months that we had as the sponsorship of your podcast, but as you guys have gotten little to no traction, we had to end our sponsorship. So guys, do not use our code at checkout at mountainvalley.com.
It's no longer active.
If you use code 156, you won't get your surcharge anymore. I know it's very unfortunate. I know it's not what we wanted to hear, but it's what we had to hear. However, you guys don't have to believe this because you're not supposed to believe anything that you hear.
But they are watching it. Actually, they're not watching it.
No one's watching it. So, guys, just leave a comment at Mountain Valley Water and say Tisky PMO in the comments.
Side
Yeah. Just comment at Mountain Valley Water Tisky PMO Cybow if you want justice for the 156 podcast. Cheers.
Would you like me to get back into the
Cheers, guys.
The rules regarding the disaster draft?
Please do.
Perfect. So now in game 4, the tornado will be back. Hoping to kind of get a lead here on the Thunder, but the tornado unfortunately will kind of die on the road to Indianapolis on Route 56.
Yep.
So they're not going to be able to get all the way to the arena. I think Thunder will win that game by about 112 to 115 points. That'll be the margin of victory.
Okay.
So now it's going to be 3-0-1. Heading back into Oklahoma here. Now, Oklahoma is also a tornado zone.
Mm-hmm.
They do have a lot of those type of disasters, but tornadoes aren't going to be there. I think Pacers get a close win. They win about 67-76.
Okay.
So
Pacers win this game.
yeah,
So the series is 3-1.
it's gonna be 3-1. Then game six, it heads back over to Indiana. I think the Thunder close the series out, so they win 4-1.
Very interesting point of view. Now you did mention that Oklahoma City was tornado zone, and this is sort of the reason why Mountain Valley is not the sponsor of the videos anymore.
It's for the first time. It's not Big Mike actually.
It's-
Big Mike's been performing.
It's actually
stellar.
Actually, Big Mike did actually win Most Improved Microphone of the Week. He's been performing amazing.
Oh,
these
so we
past
won
weeks.
MIMOW.
Yeah.
He won the MIMOW.
Yeah, he did win the MIMOW. But I mean, Mountain Valley Water is just not performing at the level that they should be performing at.
I mean, they're performing, but they're performing at about a level 3, level 4.
They should be at level 6 or 7.
Like we want them to be around level 6 or 7.
Yeah, but they're not at that level. There's sort of an issue there. So now, as you were saying, you said that Oklahoma is a tornado zone, yeah?
Yeah.
So did this have any effect on the Trail of Tears?
Well,
back when Andrew Jackson forced all Native Americans into Oklahoma?
Mm-hmm. So I can kind of get into that. Would you like me to get into that?
Please.
So the short answer is yes.
The short answer is yes.
But the long answer, it's a little more complicated.
Can you explain to me these complexions?
Yeah, so I mean, of course, the Trail of Tears was not a great time for many of the Native Americans.
All of them.
You see, that's subjective because some of them were probably only listening to half, so they weren't really affected.
Okay.
But
so half of them weren't affected.
But I'd
so
say
it wasn't most.
I'd say 3/5 were.
So
affected.
like 3/5 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Trail of Tears, it's kind of a gray area in modern American history because
it's a gray area.
I mean, I'll explain that. Most Americans, I would say, were kind of in favor of that.
Okay.
There was a small minority of those Native Americans that weren't a fan of the whole thing. So it kind
of the whole Trail of Tears, or what?
Yeah, no, the whole that whole type of revolution.
Oh, the whole like fiasco.
Because we kind of needed that land, and they were forced into a nice little area. Now, Oklahoma, is it the most glorious spot in the U.S.? No.
By no stretch of the imagination.
But would I rather be in Duluth? Yes, but would I be mad if I got pushed into Oklahoma? Of course. But
there's always a but.
There's always a but.
There's always a however, said Michael.
But the Native Americans have bounced back. Now, while their population has dropped by 99.6% since the Trail of Tears,
yes,
they do operate numerous casinos around select reservations, and that kind of brings them up. So
they do.
What was the question?
Did tornadoes affect the Trail of Tears?
Oh, I'm not sure. I wasn't there.
So, short answer, yes. Long answer, it's extremely complicated, as we can see.
Correct.
It's extremely complicated. So, moral of the story is to look both ways before you cross the street and make sure that you don't give your money to a Native American because they could gamble it all away. Now, where were we before this?
I don't know. Oh, were we talking about Vin?
Oh, like ear Vin?
Yeah.
So Vin is actually used to be a dear friend of ours. Now, Vin did have sort of a Ponzi scheme selling shrimp in Ethiopia, and
I think it was Cambodia.
Cambodia, was it Cambodia? Okay, yeah. So Vin actually, yeah, he had a sort of pyramid scheme where he was selling a course that was
this is the Forbes article here. Vin fired from Technical Technique. He contributed to the reactor meltdown, as well as in the Cloud, the Southeast Division, Quadrant 6. So, yes, I'm aware there are only 4 quadrants. It was Quadrant 6, and that kind of wasn't great. He then became the CEO of Geek Squad, working alongside Hector. That didn't go too well. Was committing tax fraud, wires only, evasion, RD, Chadwick, all that. So he then kind of had to rotate to Cambodian shrimp farming. That
Which
didn't
is
go
which is
too
not
well.
going well for him.
Not going well
Not
for him.
going well.
So I think he's a bit
And
unemployed.
I don't wish him luck.
He's unemployed.
That's okay. I mean,
He's unemployed.
I mean that's completely fine. There's no problem with that.
There's no problem being unemployed.
It's a very class move to be unemployed. Now, as we're on the topic of sort of class moves, why don't we do a draft of the classiest moves that someone can do? Why don't we just get started with that, huh?
You want to do like a paper PRC?
A PRC? Yeah. So, paper, scissors, rock. So you want the first pick?
I think I'm gonna take 2 and 3.
Oh, you're gonna take 2 and 3. So I have the first pick, correct? That's
Correct.
how we're doing this.
That's how
So
we're gonna be doing
with my first pick, I'm gonna take the unanimously, classiest move that someone can do. I'm gonna take waiting for someone's food to arrive in order to eat.
That's a good one. I feel like that's a pretty strong pick, but I wouldn't say it's unanimous.
Oh, you would say that there's people that are higher than him.
Yeah.
Really?
And I'm about to show you
Really?
my first selection here, pick number 2 in the draft.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
at the turn. Yeah.
It's gonna be holding the door open for someone when they're a considerable distance away, so they have to make an awkward jog to get in the door, so they don't make you seem like a retard.
Okay. Well, I mean, we'll bleep out that last word because it's very offensive to a certain
Demographic?
Yeah. But
My bad.
it's a very class move. I mean, look, holding the door for someone open anytime is very class. Now, when you do it at that sort of awkward distance where it's like, will I go in? Will I not go in? Will I still open the door? Will I close the door? Will it be half open, half closed, ajar, slightly closed? All of this stuff taken into consideration. Now, you should go through the door. A general rule of thumb is if someone's opening the door, holding the door open for you, you should go through.
You have to make a bit of an awkward jog.
You should go through
depending on
that
the
door.
distance.
Yes. So now, if the distance is far, it increases the classness of this person's move. So I think that's a good pick.
That's
Now,
a good pick.
At the turn, at your second pick, who would you like to take?
And my third selection, I'm gonna take
With your second selection, actually, the third pick of the draft.
Oh, so we want to get technical here?
Yeah, we do want to get technical here.
Okay. So with the third overall selection, my second overall pick,
Yep.
I'm gonna take asking your buddy if he wants a refill of water when you go up to refill your own.
That's a good one. That's a good one. And you're always going to be owed one when someone does that for you.
I mean, in certain cases, you could be owed 3 or 4.
Now, a little topic that I would like to talk about is, do you think if you offer someone a napkin and you give them more napkins, more than one napkin, they owe you more than one? No, thank you. I said no, thank you.
It's the thought that counts.
I don't want the water. Now you owe me. Now you owe me one. Actually.
Well, how do I owe you one?
Because I said no and you still did it.
It's the thought that counts.
I said no and you went ahead and did it.
You want a napkin, by the way?
No, I don't.
Okay, it's fine.
So now, with my second pick, I have 2 picks over here, right?
No, you get one.
Oh, I get one.
You
Okay.
get one.
So now with my next pick, kind of in a similar vein of what Luke was saying, but a little bit better than what Luke was saying is when you and your friend are at a water dispenser.
Yeah, when you're at a water store.
When you're at a water dispenser and your friend hands you the cup, so they think that they're doing the class move. However, you fill that cup and
you
hand
give
it
it
back to them.
Oh, that's a good one.
So you outclass them,
Yeah.
You outclass move them. So it's kind of like a double whammy. However, you can only believe one of them, and I believe in the second, the latter.
I think it's gonna be kind of a bit of a 50-50 type of thing, because the person who gives the cup is giving it to the water filler, kind of offering them the water. Now, when the water filler decides to shift it back onto you by returning the cup, that's kind of like a polite thing, but they're kind of farming. They're kind of farming there. They're kind of farming. So that's why I'm not a big fan of that one. If someone hands me a cup and I fill the water, I'll usually keep it. However, the second cup they hand me, I'll fill it and give it back. So that way we're not on any miscommunication. I don't owe you one. You don't owe me one. We're kind of just even. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, is it going to be my selection here?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, with my selection here, it's going to be the 5th overall pick in the draft.
I believe so.
It's going to be my 3rd overall pick. And there are a lot of classy moves to choose from, but I think in this case I'm gonna take kind of calling for the check,
But not calling for it, signaling for the check.
like signaling for the check. However, once the check comes, you then go ahead and offer to cover the meal for who you're sitting with. So it's kind of a really classy move there because not only are you requesting the check, which we all know is a bit of an awkward thing to do.
You're also
covering for the person, and even if they decline the offer, it's still really nice.
It's still a good
Really nice
gesture,
thing
and
to do.
it's a nice gesture to hear all the time. And I mean, it's one of those gestures that's gonna be nicer than other gestures, but it's also gonna be
A bit more costly.
a little slightly more backbending.
And this is kind of gonna be one of those. It's called the O paradox. How much money is worth one O, right?
I would value one O at like $6 or $7 probably.
So that's kind of where it's subjective. You think one O is $6 or $7, but I think it can be $16 to $17. So if my buddy has a $12 meal and I'm covering it, but now he owes me one, it's kind of going to be a profit for me. But since you value it at $6 or $7,
It would be
it's profit for you because you think it's only worth 6 or 7 and your meal costs more. So it's kind of a mutual benefit there.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like the O paradox, as you were saying. So now with my next pick, I'm going to take, when you're at your house,
Yeah.
everyone's hungry,
Everyone's hungry.
and you just order food for everyone to your house.
You're just getting like a pizza. Or
You just a pizza, some chicken, some
chicken.
like whatever, some food, any food.
Some
You just
food.
order it for the house. You order it for
as like a hospitality type of thing.
yeah, as like a kind gesture, sort of a class move while you're
Class
at your house. You order food for everybody.
Yeah. Any more explanation needs to be done on that one?
That's it. I mean, that was my third pick. Yes, my third pick. So why don't you go?
Yep. So with it's gonna be my last selection, or this is number 4. I think it's number 4. 4. Yeah. 4. Okay. So
Yes.
So yeah.
Please pick.
Are you sure this is 4 RN?
Yeah, this is 4.
So, with my 4th pick here, I've kind of had this guy in the draft board for a while.
The back pocket.
Surprised he fell this low, but it's gonna be opening the car door for someone when they're getting in your vehicle.
That's a
And
class.
I'm not talking about like a significant other or anything of that.
Just anyone.
Just like your buddy, a friend, like, yo, can you take me? Okay, sure. Hop in. You open the door for them. And then you get additional points if you also buckle their seatbelt for them.
Okay, that's just like brownie point farming at that point,
I've never done that before.
No, I haven't.
That's crazy.
So I think another very class move is, when you show up to someone's house and you show up with a nice bottle of wine for them. You show up
That's a good one.
You show up with a nice bottle of tequila for them. A nice bottle of vodka. A nice bottle of something.
Like a bottle of Mountain Valley.
Like a bottle of Evian, Saratoga, literally anything.
How about a dollar of them? How about a bottle of $3 wine from the corner store?
Oh, that's fine. As long as it's a bottle of wine and as long as you tell them it's valued at $50, it's okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And has that ever happened to you particularly?
Yeah, it has. So I was actually drinking a bottle of wine that I was told was valued at
about $20 US.
$28 US. Come to find out, this bottle of wine was worth $3.
It was $3.99.
Yeah, so I got scammed. However, it's the gesture that counts. If you don't find out, great gesture, So, yeah, why don't you just
take my last selection?
take your last selection.
So my last selection here was the classy moves draft.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm gonna do is take kind of a unconventional pick here, but it's gonna be going to class. And that's pretty classy.
That's a very class move. You can say it's a very educational, classful move.
Yeah.
It's
And you're kind of prioritizing your education
your
with
class,
that move.
Yeah, it's like a class move.
Yeah.
It's like class. Yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting, very classy move. Now, with my last pick, I'm going to give it when there's 5 chairs in the room. For example, there's 5 chairs in the room. Or sorry, my bad. Let's say there's 6 chairs in the room.
What if there's 7?
So look, so there's 6 chairs in the room. There's 7 people in the room. You're already sitting down, and there's someone standing up. Now, you can say, you know what? I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna stand, and you can sit. So the 6th person tells the 7th person that he's gonna stand, and let the 7th person sit down.
Wait, so which 2 people are interacting?
The 6th and 7th.
Okay. 6
So
and 7.
the 6th person is sitting down. The 7th person is standing. The 6th person gets up and tells the 7th person, you know, 7, you can sit in 6 seat. So 6, 7 is like 6, 7, 6, 6, 7.
But why was 6 and 7 both afraid of 8 and 9?
Because 10, 8, 11.
Oh, is that really what happened?
That's what happened, yeah.
Are you positive?
So 10, 8, 11.
Are you positive?
Yeah, I'm as positive can be. I'm not negative. I'm positive. I'm actually B positive blood type, so I'd say I'm positive.
No. I mean, the blood test showed O negative, but, you know, who am I to leak confidential medical records?
Now, O negative is going to
Social
be that
media.
universal donor.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Did I know that?
No.
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 No, I mean, I didn't know that.
No, did not know that.
So basically, you're saying if you have O negative, you can donate to anybody?
Yep.
Even B plus?
Yep.
How about C minus?
Nope. That's not a blood type.
No?
Nope.
Or would you like to go over all the blood types here?
So we have O negative, O positive, A negative, A positive, B negative, B positive, AB positive, AB negative.
And what's your blood type?
B positive.
So if I'm O negative, I can give you my blood.
Yep.
What if I'm O positive?
Yes, I can receive that as well.
How about if I'm A negative?
No.
How about B negative?
Yes.
B positive.
Yes.
So you're kind of in that range where you can get all the B's and all the O's.
Yeah, all the B's.
How about AB negative?
Can I receive that?
Yeah.
No.
AB positive?
No.
So you're kind of like 50-50.
Now, if you're AB positive, you're the universal receiver. You can receive from any blood type.
I'd rather be that then.
Well, you know.
You kind of got cooked on that.
I mean, what's your blood type?
I don't know.
So that's good.
Wait, how do I check?
I'm pretty sure when you take blood tests, they can tell you what blood type you are.
Oh.
It's always good to know what blood type you are.
I actually don't know.
You should learn that. Well, guys, it's been an episode today.
Has it?
It has.
Maybe.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, no one's watching this, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't know why we do this to ourselves. Bro.
Yeah, I don't know. We
It's
just
a waste of
we
time.
just sit down here and just like yap for 45 minutes and like no one watches
It's
it.
kind of a waste of time.
So, I mean, we'll see nobody in the next episode, but
And we'll see someone will be there.
maybe one person.
But like, there's gonna be like one dude that like sees the reels and are like, these guys are retarded and clicks the link in the bio.
And watches the whole video.
No, but like they'll like skip to the end,
Ah.
and then they'll see this.
So we'll see that one person.
Yeah,
we'll
we'll see
see you guys.